One of the things that we've found that is really strong is just this idea of the poor man's SEO. So this isn't an SEO strategy. This isn't going to replace a company that does this for a living. This is just something that we do to make sure the foundation of what happens is solid and is working for you. And so, Dustin, when it comes to SEO, let's talk a little bit about what SEO is and maybe what it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no SEO expert, but I think it stands for search engine optimization.
Correct.
Right. And so it's basically, this is my non-SEO brain trying to describe SEO. And I had 2 meetings this week with SEO experts who are friends / clients of mine. And I'm just going, I hope they never hear me try to explain this, but if we have good SEO, then maybe they accidentally will hear me. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about being able to make your stuff findable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the really World Wide Webs, as they call it, is just massive. It's bigger than the world itself. And so, how can you get your information found? How can you get your business, your coaching found in this just giant, endless ocean, right, of things? And so, that's what it is.
Yeah. And what it's not for us today, if we're framing this today, what it's not is a full-fledged SEO strategy that gives you all of these things, that guarantees all of this success, and you're going to rank number 1 in Google tomorrow. That's not what we're saying here. And so what I'll say today is that's what it's not. What it is for us today is a simple path to platform your idea, your podcast episode, your blog, all of that, so that when somebody finds you, that there are ways that they can engage with your content in a strong way. And so that's really what we talk about when we're saying search engine optimization. It's a lot, or the poor man's SEO. It's really just making sure that everything is aligned in a way that makes sense to somebody that comes across your content in some way, shape, or form. Okay. And so what we typically do, let's frame out, Dustin, now what we do with each and every episode for each and every client, in the ones that are in our full system. Okay.
Yeah. So just pulling up right now, our actual, which we talked about in the last episode, our actual SOP for this.
There it is. Let's start there, maybe, Dustin. As you pull it up, does that help us see kind of a little bit about what we're doing?
I mean,
can we walk through that?
I assume this is where you're going, but this is the kind of because we talked about this episode being centered around the kind of the strategy behind the CCOS process.
Correct.
This is less of the strategy and more of the post, like what you get, like the outcome of the CCOS or so I don't know if that's where we're going or not. If so, I'm happy to dive into it.
No, that's exactly where we're headed. And so let's break down what we're talking about when we say CCOS, right? So CCOS is our content creation operating system. This is a process that we like to do because if you are recording episodes, if you're creating content, you're putting it out into the world, if there's, we can have a really good conversation and then it goes out on YouTube or maybe the audio platforms, and then that just kind of stays there and that's it. Our CCOS process is taking that content and leveraging it across the board, right? So it's taking it and creating other pieces of assets that we can utilize from that conversation that will allow for more reach and more clients connecting with who you are and what you do, right?
Yeah.
And so our CCOS process, so if we say CCOS, you're officially in, the insider language, CCOS, Content Creation Operating System. Boom. Yeah. So what we typically do with every single episode, and Dustin will break down the SOP here in just a minute, but every episode needs to walk through here we go again, a repurposing process so that we're leveraging it to the best of its ability. And one of those things that we do that we feel very strong on is this SEO or poor man's SEO piece, which is every episode will obviously go on YouTube because you have a video, and that's where you're going to house your episodes. That's going to be the video platform that we use. Then you take the audio and you put it out into all the audio platforms, right? So those are two ways that you're just getting. Those are just kind of where everything is housed and stored, right? But then there's a third one that we like to do, which is on your business or personal website. This is going to be your blog roll where content is being on your page every time. And so anybody worth their weight in gold that tells you SEO strategy is going to be, what are you doing each week, each month to update your website so that it's not all the pages, but at least there's new content going on your site in some way, shape, or form. So this is what we do. We take the episode, we drop it into a blog roll on your website that is going to be the video. But then also we take that video and we create a blog post around it. So if somebody's more of a reader than they are a watcher, or they're like, well, I don't want to watch an hour-long podcast, I could watch I could read a 5-minute blog at this point. So we take that blog, we put it underneath the video. And then what we do that I feel is really strong in this quote unquote SEO strategy piece is we take the full transcript of that episode. So say you have a 45-minute conversation. You take that transcript, you put it underneath the blog, as you know, it says transcript, and then it's just full quote unquote word for word of the episode that's above. So you have the video, you have the blog, you have the transcript. And now what you have is a weekly, that's so much content, 45 minutes worth of conversation put into one blog post. Now that's on your website. You rinse and repeat that each and every week. Your transcript is full of all the keywords: podcasting, coaching with content, Darren Cooper, 1898 Creative, Dustin Peed,
CCOS.
I'm just chalking this transcript full of all of our keywords right now, right? But it's all the things that we naturally talk about. Now all of a sudden, Google over time is going to catch on to, this is who you are, this is what you do, right? And I would even say, Dustin, there's a secondary piece to this, that when you create consistent content, even in YouTube and in audio platforms, that eventually YouTube is starting to figure out who you are and what you talk about, and they'll start serving those videos up to the right people as well, because you're creating this longer form content. That's why we believe in long form content here. And so one big thing that we do that is super, what I feel is helpful in the foundational elements of creating long form, is obviously video, obviously audio, but putting this on your website to be kind of that poor man's SEO that will allow you to get, in front of those people in a quicker way, in a more efficient way. Dustin, what do you think about that?
What you're saying is it's staking claim on that World Wide Web, right? It's staking claim on the internet of, this is who you are, this is what you're about. You don't have to worry about, am I saying the right things on my website? Yes, you obviously need to worry about that. But in terms of being found, so on the internet, like if we take this transcript word for word, put it on somewhere on your website, then your website is going to be elevated quicker to when people are searching the things that you're talking about, and when that's what you want, right? So clean transcript helps that. The pillar blog post helps that as well. Yeah.
And obviously we do a lot more in our CCOS process with the deliverables, but this SEO kind of piece is what I wanted to highlight today. And so it's really, if you simply took and just said, you know what, each episode or each video, I'm going to do a blog post around it. I'm going to do the transcript. I'm going to get it onto my website. So now there is an ongoing flow to what we do. So if somebody comes to your website, they see what you do, and then they see this blog roll or this podcast roll, they click on it. Now they're seeing updated things. Obviously the thumbnails are there. All the stuff is there. It's going to be a way that they can begin to engage with your stuff even more. And it's just a solid foundation. If you just simply do that, it's going to be a solid foundation for you. Doesn't mean you're going to rank number one in Google. Doesn't mean that you're going to be the best. This isn't the best SEO strategy on the planet. That's why it's the poor man's SEO. But this is something that is a great foundational piece to what you're doing. So if you implement this today, you would be in the 1%.